Well, here we are. It is 3 years to the day since I first took my first estrogen pill. So, that's something that should kind of be celebrated. Yeah, unfortunately, I've mentioned in previous videos how I've not really taken it seriously to a degree. In terms of transition, I haven't shaved today. I've been struggling with mental health and coming to terms with who I am and stuff like that. And it's weird because I'm, like I say, it's 3 years to the day since I first started. Since I first took a hormone pill of some description, and it's just a little strange. And I felt that the date needed marking. Today, bizarrely, was gonna be the day that I did my name change, but I'm still not quite feeling that, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, it's a day that should be marked, but then at the same time, it's one of those where through things that I have done myself, I've not made a lot of progress. Body shape has changed, as I've mentioned, but in terms of hair growth and stuff, that's down to me, shaving my head all the damn time. But yeah, it's one of those, because they reckon, well, depending on where you go and what websites you read, they reckon that the first 3 years are when the biggest changes happen. And the one thing I've noticed is that it was the first 6 months that stuff started to change, and then it sort of didn't for a while, and it felt like it had stalled for 6 months, and then I had a little bit more growth, and then it stalled again, a little bit more growth, and they reckon the first 3 years everything's going to happen, and then you're stuck. But then you go to other places on the internet, and they're like, no, usually it's 3 years is when it all kicks off. So I've got that to look forward to. The one negative, if I'm honest, is that it's 3 years where there has been very little medical involvement, medical professionals, and it just shows the state of trans healthcare in the world at the moment. That, especially in the UK, you're on a waiting list, and it's unless you can afford to go privately, and I really can't afford to do that. So we're gonna keep on trucking. I will say I'm disappointed in where I'm at, but it's more I'm disappointed in myself, because again, it's things that I've done that have sort of held back my transition, if you will. It's like I put on a lot of weight when I first started hormones, and again, that was just because I was depressed and I was eating a lot, and there is help out there if you are struggling with things like that. And now I'm finally shedding the weight. It's it's getting better, and my mental health is now better. It's not better, but it's better than it was. Let's put it that way. I don't often talk about it because it's not that fun, but literally 6 months before I realised I was trans in like the April or the May, and then I took my first hormone tablet in July, but in the January or February, this is all in sort of 2018, I was very, very low. This was sort of the start of my mental health issues. I wasn't in a good place at all, and I had readied myself to end my life. And trigger warnings in the description, trigger warning in the title. I was ready to end my life, and I didn't quite know why. There were some financial issues that I was running into. We just moved into a new area, and I knew absolutely nobody. Had left all my friends and family behind, and now 3 years later, with feeling the way I do, and being in the position I am grateful, and I can honestly say that coming to terms with being trans, it basically saved my life. There was a reason that I was unhappy, and I spent several months analysing that. And again, there is professional help out there. I choose not to go down that route, but again, that's more a condemnation on the state of mental health services in the UK, but I'm not going to go into that one either. But yes, long and the short, I'm still alive, basically. I'm more alive now than I have been in a very, very long time, and I am extremely grateful that my egg basically cracked. There was something was obviously not suiting me, and it turns out it was testosterone for the most part. So, and over the last few years I've worked out more and more, and I've looked in depth, and I've figured out, like, that I'm bisexual and I'm gender fluid and things of that nature. So, I saw somebody put a Twitter post the other day that cis people should examine their gender, like trans people do. And even if they end up coming out the other side of it, that they are still cis, then, it's something that everybody should do, I mean, even if it's 5 minutes going, am I cis? Yes, I probably am. Why am I? And then you go, okay. I mean, for me, it took years, I mean, I've not been in the best place, not only recently, but in my life in general. And I don't know if I've said it on video, but I knew something was off basically from the onset of puberty. So it's worth examining. If you have mental health issues, it is worth getting professional help, obviously. I would recommend that every time over what I've done, to be honest, because I would have probably sorted it out a lot sooner. But yeah, so yeah, 3 years. How about that? And again, I'm not disheartened either. That's something else. A lot of people, they're like, oh, I've been on tablets for over a year and I've not seen any changes, and should I give up, and this, that, and the next. And in my case especially, it is down to the amount of effort that I haven't put in. Gotta be honest. But with the right mental health treatment, the right medical professionals helping you out, you can find yourself in a good place. So it's just, I've gone off on one here a bit, but it was more to say that, hey, it's 3 years since I first took an estrogen tablet. Yeah, that's weird. It's sort of a big number. But again, don't be disheartened, because again, some of the first websites that you find when you're looking into transition, they're like, oh, if it hasn't happened for 3 years, it won't happen. And there are other sites that are like, oh, if you're over 25, forget it. And it's just ignore that. I know people online in their later years and they're transitioning and they're having really, really good effects. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to the future, if you will, because I know that, now I've come to terms with who I am and how I want to look and stuff like that. I'm working towards that now, and it's giving me a goal. I mean, I guarantee you, even without me being how I was in the January of 2018, wanting to end my life, I would have probably drank myself into the grave by now, and coming to terms with being trans helped me give up the booze, so the next thing I've got to do is give up the fags, the cigarettes for our American viewers, or Europeans, do they call them? I don't know what they call them in Europe. I know in the US they call them, you can't call them fags, but, English colloquialisms, it's always fun. But yeah, right. This, didn't want this to be too depressing, but I just figured I'd, mark it somehow, anyway. I think it's pretty much 2 years since I went to the GP to ask for a referral. I mean, the actual date of the referral isn't until August. But, I think it was around about this time in 2019 that I went to the GP. So that's alright. Yeah. Wow. I think it's more that it's just strange to me that I could actually spend 3 years focusing on something and actually doing something, that isn't work. I pick a job and I do it for 5-10 years. I mean, I've been on this current one for about 4 years, and then my previous job I was with that company for 15. So, you know, and that's just to pay the bills, I suppose. But yeah, now for me to focus on something that isn't education or work based for longer than 3 years, wow. Yeah. Right. Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna go to work. Yeah. No video soon. Right. See ya.